Okay, so let's look at one final video here in this module that I'm going to present. Again, I'm going to post several supplemental videos so you can kind of see some motion of the gases and stuff like that. But we want to look at phase changes. So what are the 4 states of matter? I know there are more. We're not going to get into the Bose-Einstein stuff and stuff like that. But these are the 4 that you need to be familiar with. Solid, liquid, gas, and plasma. Now, this plasma is not your blood plasma. This is plasma like in the sun, and some light bulbs and stuff. So you're getting a plasma material that can glow and emit energy. So you need to be familiar with that as well. So how can we get from one to the other? Okay, so I'm going to ignore plasma for right now and fall into the realm of gas anyways, or similar to the gas. So let's look at the situation where I have a solid, gas, and a liquid. Okay, and I want to go from one to the other. So you can actually make transfers to all of them. So I want to go from solid to gas. Let's do the crazy stuff first. So a solid to a gas, an example would be dry ice. If you've ever played with dry ice, which is frozen carbon dioxide, it bypasses the liquid stage and goes straight to gas. And that is sublimation. Okay, so an example of that is dry ice going from solid to a gas. Well, you can also do the reverse with the dry ice. You can form dry ice going from a gas and freeze it to a solid, and that is deposition. So of the 6 that we're going to talk about, these are probably the 2 hardest because they're probably the least talked about. But dry ice is a perfect example. It can go from a solid to a gas. That's why when you go to a lot of people go to the grocery store and get some dry ice, you put it in a cooler, and they make the mistake of closing the cooler. Well, as it thaws, it goes straight from a solid to a gas, which has way more energy and takes up more volume, and it's going to pop the cooler open and cause some other problems. So again, dry ice is a perfect example of what's going on here. So let's go the other direction. So let's go from a solid to a liquid. This is going to be more familiar. If I take ice, water ice, and make it into a liquid, I melt it. But if I go the other direction, if I take a liquid and go to a solid, if I take water to be able to make it into ice, I have to freeze it. Another word is solidify. Okay. So I know you're very familiar with those, but let's go into the other direction. Let's take a liquid and convert it to gas. You want to evaporate. Versus if you go the other direction, if you take a gas and go to a liquid, think about like what happens on the top of the lid as you're cooking, you're boiling water, that water vapor gets trapped on your lid and it condenses. Oops, spelling is horrible today, apologize. So these are the 6 actions that we can go between the states of matter. So we can go from a variety, we can go from a liquid to a solid to a liquid, liquid to a gas to a liquid, a gas to a solid, and a solid to a gas. And it takes energy to do all of these. So up to this point, we have been talking about Q is equal to mc delta T. So this is dealing with a change in temperature. But it actually takes energy to go these states. So there's not going to be a change in temperature here. We're going to Q equals m times L, where this is going to be our latent heat. And this is a table. You see it on a table specific to different materials. And I'm not going to get into great detail because of time constraints for the course. But it takes energy. So we've calculated how much energy it takes to convert a gram of water to ice, or how much energy it takes to take a gram of water to a gram of water vapor. So that L is going to be constant based on the different types of materials, but it does take energy to go from one state to another state. And so it's kind of interesting. That's why your freezer has to run. You put water in there, and it's going to take energy to convert that water to ice. Okay, so this is going to be the last part. Again, everything goes from a higher energy to a lower energy. That object with the lower energy is going to absorb that energy and balance out. Okay, so are we go through, make sure you have the videos, make sure you look at the supplemental videos, look at the practice activities, and please ask me if you have any questions.